What if Aliens, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics? Did you ever wonder what would happen if Carter Burke has survived Aliens? No? Yeah, me neither, but that's the story we're going to get. And it's actually written by Paul Reiser and his son Leon Reiser, and it's what would have happened if Carter Burke from Aliens had survived. And we start off immediately with the scene straight out of Aliens, where it's a scene where Hicks and the Marines just save Ripley and Newt from being attacked by the facehugger, and they all confront Burke and basically know that Burke is the one that tried to get Newt and Ripley impregnated so that he can sneak a alien past customs, and he would basically jettison the Marines. We've all seen this scene, and it goes exactly like how it goes in the movie. The Marines are debating on wasting him. They get attacked by aliens, and then Burke makes his escape. Only in the movie, as soon as Burke, the door behind him, he gets attacked by an alien and is killed. Whereas here, rather than being killed, he wakes up in a nest with a facehugger being hatched out of its egg and getting ready to attack him. However, he gets saved by an unlikely source. Gorman and Vasquez end up saving him, only unknowingly. It's the scene where they're in the vents and they're surrounded by aliens, and so they pull out the grenade and blow it up. So we get that scene. Only the explosion goes so far that it actually kills the egg with the facehugger, and it destroys the quote-unquote webbing that's keeping Burke stuck to the wall. So he's able to free himself. The next few pages we get is straight out of Aliens, where it's like the famous scene of them making their escape. Ripley with the flamethrower, Ripley in the like little tiny mech fighting the alien queen, and Burke is just in the background hiding. So it's literally just copies of the movie with Burke in the background. And yeah, he's able to sneak on board the same ship that Ripley and the crew are on. They're in stasis, and Burke calls Yutani and basically admits that he failed in his mission to bring back a live alien, that the planet was destroyed. Yutani is obviously pissed off. You know, he asks Burke, like, how the hell did this happen? Burke says that I was indisposed. I was in a xenomorph cocoon. Yutani asks if he was impregnated. Burke says no. Yutani's like upset because, you know, he's like, at least you would have been able to salvage something from this. But yeah, Burke basically mentions that even if you try to wipe all this out, there's knowledge of the fact that Yutani paid for the space station. Space station was destroyed along with everybody in the station. I mean, they were already all killed off by aliens, but an explosion also took out the station. So it's eventually going to come back on Yutani. So Burke decides to make a deal. Like, I have a wife, I have a baby. Give me a job for life with Yutani. Put me on a planet somewhere where I can live in peace with my family, and I'll get rid of Ripley, and I'll keep my silence. And Yutani's like, all right, fine, we'll do that. And Burke decides, okay, I have my deal. So he sabotages the ship, only he does it. Like, he tells Ripley, like, hey, you're going to have a fighting chance. I'm going to evac all of you in an emergency escape vehicle, and then I'm going to destroy this ship so that they believe that I took you out. There's a nearby planet with climate suitable for human life, and there's a colony there, or there might be. If you're able to land on that planet, maybe you can survive some way. Here's your fighting chance rather than just straight up destroying you. And so that's how Ripley ends up on the planet in Alien 3. Meanwhile, Burke, he gets picked up by Yutani, and Yutani decides to keep this deal. Despite the fact that this was basically a verbal contract, there was no physical contract, so there's no reason for them to actually allow him to live. Like, as soon as they realize, oh, yeah, okay, you quote unquote killed Ripley in the group, why don't we just put a bullet in your head? I mean, that's something right up Yutani's alley. But no, they decide to honor their end of the deal for whatever reason. However, their end of the deal is basically putting Burke on the ass crack of the universe, like a planet that nobody really goes to. And giving him like this really crappy job. And yeah, we just cut to 30 years later where Burke is a sad sack. He's an old man, he's out of shape, he hates his job, he doesn't seem to be married anymore because his wife is never around. His daughter, who's now grown up, hates him, and he spends all his free time feeding pigeons. So, was that exciting? I honestly don't understand what the hell this issue is for. Who's it for? No one cares for the Burke character. No one really cares about like what would have happened if he had survived. But if you're gonna do that, you could have done something interesting. Like we could have seen more with Yutani and stuff. Like how what's it like to be an employee under Yutani? And you could have just taken this in a different direction. But instead, we literally just have 4 pages direct ripping off of Aliens, only with Burke in the background. We have 4 pages of him talking to Yutani and making a verbal contract. And then we have just the rest of him being a sad sack and feeding pigeons. And there's no aliens or anything like that for the rest of the issue. I don't know why this series was done. I mean, there's going to be an issue 2. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get something better there. But this was very, very just kind of boring and just not entertaining. I'm just kind of done with the whole superheroes or old sad sacks. Like we get that with everything, especially from Disney. It seems Disney seems to enjoy taking characters from old franchises, bringing them back now with obviously they're aged up, so they're old, and none of them are living the good life. They're all like either divorced, living on their own, out of shape, constantly complaining. Not the kind of life anyone would want. I mean, at least in this case, Burke isn't like a classic hero or anything like that. But still, like I'm just kind of done with this trope. Can we get like one character from the past who's like living the good life in his old age? Like that would be a nice change. But yeah, I honestly don't understand why this series was created. Maybe issue number 2 will get me to change my mind, but I don't care for this. It would have been better if like what if Hudson had lived? Like that would have been kind of cool. Like I enjoyed the Hudson character. What if he had survived? Plus, you could have done like a nice little tribute to Bill Paxton, in that way. What if Hudson had survived, and him and Hicks were alive when Ripley crashed on the planet? Like, what if all the characters had survived when they crashed? How would that have changed things? What if Hicks had survived? Then again, like I don't know, like is Hicks technically alive in the Alien universe? I know he quote unquote died in the 3rd movie, but then they made the Aliens Colonial Marines video game, which is supposed to be canon according to the developers and stuff, where Hicks survived. So I don't know. Say that you go with the movie canon and he's dead, then we could have done like a what if Hicks had survived. Imagine, what would Alien 3 have been like if Ripley and Hicks were alive? If Ripley had Hicks at her back? Like, how would have things changed? Would they have been able to put up a better fight against the alien? Would Ripley still have to have sacrificed herself in the end? There's so much better like ways we could have done this story. Like, what if Hudson had survived? What if Hicks had survived? But no, you chose Burke, and then you didn't do anything interesting with them. You just made him a grumpy old man who spent his life feeding pigeons on this backwater planet. It's not very interesting. So yeah, I didn't care for this at all. I thought this was like a really big wasted opportunity. Again, I wouldn't have chosen the Burke character, but if you were, you could have done so much more interesting things with him. This was just kind of really, really boring. So yeah, there you go. There's What If Aliens #1. What if Carter Burke had lived? A question nobody has asked themselves because nobody cares for this character. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.